everybody. Welcome to the Love Coach Bruce Starr Show. My name is Bruce Starr, and I am the host of tonight's show. You know, we are here on WGSN-DB, the Going Solo Network, every Thursday night at 9 o'clock. And I am looking forward to not only this show, but I'm looking forward to some future shows that I'm very excited to tell you about. On May 17th, I'm going to have on the incredible Eric Pearl. Eric is the author of The Reconnection, a book that has made him famous around the world. And he's coming on the show with his partner and co-instructor, Jillian Fleer. Also, hold on to your seats. Anyone that knows anything about the world of psychology and better health has heard of Dr. Bernie Siegel. Dr. Bernie is going to be on the show on June 7th. So I want you to mark those two dates on your calendar. And I'm speaking with several other world-class guests, so make sure you tune in each and every week, see who's going to be on the show. And this week, it's going to be fantastic. I'm going to have on with us very interesting guest. We're going to talk relationships with Jill Carter. Jill is a seasoned and well-respected coach and matchmaker that has appeared on national television program, the national television program, The Real Housewives of Vancouver. Woohoo! Her scouting skills were instrumental as well for finding the finalists on the Canadian version of Bachelor 2014. You know what's different about Jill is her clients are mostly very successful and accomplished men who are business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals. And Jill's approach to her profession is from the heart. That's why I'm having her on the show. Heart-based, she's a listener, and she encourages her clients to have the best results possible. And I want to thank you for coming on the show with me today, Jill. I'm really looking forward to sharing this stage with you.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And so I love the idea of not only having a matchmaker on the show, but having a matchmaker literally from a different culture. I mean, us Americans—
We're not that different.
I know. See, that's the thing. Us Americans think that Canadians, Americans, it's all the same, until I talk to my Canadian relatives and they say, who? Down there? Who are you guys? They don't quite think of us as together as I think we are. But I love the idea of dealing with someone not only from Canada, but from the west coast of Canada and Vancouver. So what I would love to do is for you to please tell me and the audience a little bit about you so we can find out who Jill Carter was and how she got to where she is today.
And how I got here. Well, it was by fluke, actually. I started many years working for mutual funds, selling mutual funds to brokers. And what I found, how I succeeded in that industry, was basically having a relationship with the broker first, and getting to know them and where they came from, and then what their clients' needs were. So that's always been my focus. So I just fell into this by chance. My father passed suddenly, and my mother had passed many years prior. So it's, you know, when both parents are gone, you take stock of your life and you reevaluate. And that's what I did. And I just by chance fell into the matchmaking industry, and became a matchmaker with 3 different companies. And then I started my own about 4 years ago.
So interesting that you started with people in the stock market or people who are brokers, because they're the kinds of people that if they don't watch themselves, they become salesmen in relationships and really miss out on a lot of the intimacy that goes on with relationships.
That's true. That's true. And some of my clients have been men in the industry. So I know how to read them, and they listen. Men tend to listen to me because it's from a female perspective. So, and it's not like talking to their guy friends. And guys don't talk to men, their guy friends, like they would with myself.
Well, when I talked to you about this before, but when I speak in seminars and workshops,
Mhm.
and I kiddingly say that men are, well, if they got their hearts broken when they were 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, whatever it was, they become a little retarded when it comes to relationships. and the women are the first one to say, what? The guys know we're retarded, but the women go, what? So basically, the reason why we get so nuts, and the reason why women think we're so nuts, is because if we got our heart broken, women have a chance to recover. You have your sisters, your aunts, your mother, your grandmother, your friends. I mean, there's a whole list of people you can go to.
That's true.
Us guys, nothing. We can't talk to anybody. I mean, you're not going to hear Frank and Tony go down to the local gym and Frank start bawling his eyes out and crying and saying how vulnerable he is, how vulnerable he feels because his girlfriend, kicked him out of the house, told him he was a lousy lover and he doesn't know how to be in a relationship. You're just not going to hear that.
It is changing. It is changing with the younger generation. I find with under 40s that they are definitely more articulate with their friends about their feelings and emotions. And even with me, they can really articulate how they're feeling, what they want, what their needs are, where they've screwed up, where they need to improve. So that's a really good sign, and I'm hopeful for the future.
I like to hear that. Let's talk more about that, because I seem to know a lot of the 40s to the 70s. Mm-hmm. And I'll be the first one to tell you that I don't know how the younger people think. Let's hear more about that.
Well, I think I know, and we talked about this, the culture in the school system, and I'm raising a son, is to talk about your feelings and emotions. I know in my son's school, that's part of the curriculum, is to talk about it, and they label it, if you will. My son is very, very articulate with his emotions. And when I don't listen to him, he lets me know, "You're not listening to me, Mom." So he's almost 12. So it's starting now. I see it in 20-year-olds that I've talked to, but definitely 30-year-old men that I work with. They're very articulate with what they're looking for, but they still want some guidance in the fact that I am a female. There's a comfort level there, and they open up. They open up like unbelievably, and it's an honor for me to hear what and have them entrust. They trust me and with their feelings and their emotions, and it's a great job I have.
I hear a book here somewhere. You can change the names and
maybe
protect the innocent, but I hear a book here because
I think a lot of stories.
Yeah, what you're saying is really important. I mean, the girls don't know the guys now. The guys don't understand the girls now. And so by the way, I want to invite anybody who's watching live to type in any questions that they have for us. You and I decided we'd take some questions. So we're gonna definitely do that. So we'll look forward to getting your questions. So I want to hear about the kind of guy right now why is he going to a matchmaker?
They're, like you had stated in the opening, most of these men that I deal with are business owners, entrepreneurial type guys who think outside the box, who don't want to be online or can't be online, or find that they've been online and it's like having a second job. They're not meeting the quality women that they want to, so they reach out to me. You know, they're hiring a professional like they would their accountant or somebody else.
What exactly are they? What exactly are they expecting someone else to do? Are they looking for them to like put together, you know, someone who's just about they're ready to get married? What are they looking for?
The men who come to me are ready. They're typically divorced a lot of times, or they've been through long-term relationships, and they just haven't found, if they're in their 30s, they just haven't found the quality that they've been seeking. And so I help them with that because I personally scout for them, which they love that idea, of course.
Tell me what that means. Tell me what that means that you.
Well, I will approach women on the street. I approached a woman in a clothing store the other day for a client of mine. And the women are always very, very flattered. You know, if I approach a man, for whatever reason, it's not the same thing. They're like, "What do you want? What is this? Right? How much is it going to cost me?" But women are they're very flattered.
And you know what? Guys can't go up to women and say, "Hi, I'm a matchmaker," and they can't do that either.
No. But I encourage men to approach women too. I really think that it's a lost art. Don't you think it's a lost art?
Yeah.
I know in Vancouver it is. I hear women complain all the time, and men complain about the women. Vancouver is a challenging city to date in. But I think it's a mindset too. It's like anything else. If you think it's challenging and difficult, it's going to be. That's what your experience is going to be.
So yeah. I think I know what the biggest problem is right now, keeping men and women apart. But I want to hear from your point of view. What is the biggest problem right now? What is the biggest confusion, mass confusion that's going on that's keeping men and women apart?
Well, I was just going to say that the most challenging is the confusion, but the sexes are confused. The men are confused on their roles with women, and I think women can compete with men nowadays. That's what I see, and I have to coach women not to be so competitive and sit back and let men be men. So you can be the woman. And because when they don't do that, they bitch and complain. Well, he's not stepping up to the plate. I like a guy to take charge. But when they do, and they make a decision on something, and if she doesn't like it, then she voices that. So, the guys you can't win for nothing. So, yeah. So poor buggers is what I say.
And boy, I wouldn't want to be single now. I mean, the confusion between whatever it is, diseases and protecting yourself, and the confusion between masculine and feminine energies. You see, I believe that men haven't changed all that much in the last 1,000 years.
That's true.
We're having to react more to what's going on with the changing of the women. Now, 40, 50 years ago, this women's lib thing kicked in, which is really wonderful for work. I mean, women deserve to get those great jobs. They deserve equal money. I'm 100% for that. I had 2 sisters and a mother bring me up. I'm all for women. I love women. You give me a choice between a bunch of guys standing around talking about the stock market and the girls sitting around talking about something else. I'm over there. Okay. But what's happened is, the women have gotten so masculine in nature to get those jobs that they've remained masculine in the dating scene. Now, it's a huge problem because women want to be just like men. They want to find a beautiful man.
Not to be fair, not all, but I have, yeah. Yeah.
But the ones that are having the most trouble are the ones that have assumed the masculine role and haven't learned how to back off that masculine role in relationship.
And that's where the competitiveness, they take it from the boardroom into the bedroom, sort of, right? So, and just and when they meet men and they come off, some women can come off quite masculine. Now it's okay to know who you are and be confident and all of that, but I think it's okay. I think it's okay for women to own their femininity.
Very important.
I really think it's important that women do, because I believe that the number one thing for women, whether you're highly successful on your own or not, is safety. Women like to feel safe, and it doesn't mean that men are doing everything for them, but that's how we work. We like to feel safe and, dare I say, taken care of, but taken care of not monetarily anymore, but emotionally.
Yes.
And I think that we're in a real dilemma right now, dilemma between the sexes.
And
yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I think love shows up when you're ready for it. Not when you're chasing it and you're busy doing other things, and it's when you're ready, it shows up when you're mentally ready and you have become the person that you want to attract. You know what I mean? So, like, if you want someone who is confident and loving and nurturing and kind, like we all do, and funny, and passionate, then you have to become that person. Otherwise, you're kind of shortchanging yourself. And then
the other big challenge that I see is that when people have not grown personally and inwardly and are lacking a lot of things, they're actually looking for other people to satisfy them and to give them what they feel they are lacking or what they need to be kept in the style that they're used to. And that's a problem.
Yeah, I think self-inventory is really, really important. So if that means after your last relationship, you take a few months off, 6 months off, a few years off.
Excellent.
Whatever it takes to look at your history and where you play, what's your role in the relationships you've had in the past, or why are you attracting the same type? Men. Why are you attracting the same type of men, or why are you attracting the same type of women? Because what you're doing is the same over and over, or you're reacting. Really, life is about how you respond, isn't it?
That's right.
It's about responses. So if you're responding the same way, you're going to get the same results. So
I love what you said. I love what you said about taking 6 months or a year or even longer, because what I'm finding when I talk to people is that they don't slow down, they speed up. They go, I'm going to the internet and it's this and it's franticness. And what you're saying is so true. And what I call it is that when we were 15, 16, 17, 18 and we fell in love, we offered what I call a full pie. Could be a whole apple pie, full. We were, here's us, no holds barred. Here we are. Take me. I love you.
Right.
A whole pie. But if we get our hearts dashed and broken, we certainly don't offer that whole pie again. And what we need to do, and what you said was, get away from it for 6 months or a year and regrow our pie. Now, I'd like to speak with you a little bit about, because many people say to me, how do you regrow a pie? I'd like to offer one way. Here, you offer another way. I'll offer another way. Maybe you can offer another way. One way to do it is to go to yoga classes. It puts you in touch with your body. And who are you going to meet at a great yoga class?
Well, you're doing the downward dog.
Yes, that's right. I mean, if you're a guy, you're going to meet, there's going to be some great girls there. And if you're a girl, you
Yeah.
know that someone's there because they're working on building themselves up and toning themselves up, not just with weights, but with yoga.
Yeah, spiritually. I'm a big believer in going inwards, because that's where the happiness lies, is here, not out here. People, when someone joins our life, they complement our life as we complement theirs. So it really is about as corny as it sounds, self-love, self-acceptance, self-care. And we go at such a speed nowadays that we don't take time to just get off the train and breathe. I mean, even just breathing. So it really is about taking stock of yourself and seeing yourself, like, can I really have the life I envisioned when I was 20 years old? Of course you can. Anything is possible. It starts with a belief system. So if you believe you're lovable and worth it, and you have self-respect, that's, you're going to attract the energy you put out, you're going to put back in. And all those, people that you don't want to attract, you're going to know who they are when you see them.
So
right?
one of the things that I really want to do, if I do get to work with matchmakers, is, and I was thinking of doing a matchmaking service myself, but that's probably a little bit too complicated. But what I would do if I was to do that was to make sure that anyone that wanted to be a matchmaker had to come through like a 3-month boot camp with me, right? Work with them on a personal level, doing the things that you're saying. Mm-hmm. Because if they're going from here and then they're calling me to get them dates, they're not going to make those changes.
Well, and that's what I coach. That's what I coach the men, and I go in depth with them. What's your history? Where are you at now? Okay, let's talk about that. And then I offer some coaching for them and evaluation and my interpretation and my instinct, and because I can read people pretty well. And men have told me, I feel very, they tell me, I feel really safe with you, Jill. Like it's like you're my counselor, even though I have no credentials with regards to psychology, but I know how to listen to people. And I think they can feel my sincerity and that my intention is there to help them. And I think when you're dating and you come from an authentic, real, loving place, that person will be able to feel that too. And then that will just open the dialogue of, like, I don't think any questions are off the table. I think you should ask the hard questions to begin with, because not the first date, have fun, and that's what they're supposed to be. But really, I mean, you don't want to waste time, right, with people. So ask the hard questions, and how people respond tells you a lot about who they are. And you can evaluate, yes.
But if the females ask their questions in a too much of an aggressive, assertive manner, that's showing something that guys might not admit it. It's going to turn them off, because they don't want two masculine energies in the relationship. They really are looking for a clever woman who can find ways to ask those questions without being too aggressive and too assertive.
Yes, well, and my belief system is, if someone's coming across too aggressive, it's because they haven't done the work. Right? So if as a secure man, if you're a secure man, you will understand that. Now, you can either accept it because you really are attracted to this woman, and you see, okay, based on her history, I understand where she's coming from, or you just move on. right? And that's okay. Your paths, I always say people come into your life for a short time, a long time, or a lifetime.
Speaking of a short time, believe it or not, we're about a minute or two away from the show being over. I know.
Wow.
It's a half hour has gone by. It's hard to believe. Yep.
Okay, I could talk to you for another hour, Bruce.
I know, and we'll do another show together. We'll absolutely guaranteed. But tell people, are you just in the Vancouver area or are you elsewhere?
Well, I mean, I can coach anybody, right? I can coach anybody. I've had some clients in California and Toronto. So if people want to call me up,
tell people how to get in touch with you.
Well, you can go on you can email me at Jill at modernpursuitmatchmaking.com. Do you want me to give the phone number?
Do you have an office phone number that you'd like to give out?
Yeah. So it's 1-778-882-7465, or you can go on my website, modernpursuitmatchmaking.com, and you can email me a question. That's probably, a lot of people are comfortable with that.
That's great. And if I don't do this very often, but I really have to do it more often. If people want to contact me, you can by going to my website, which is theopenheartmovement.com, or my Facebook page, facebook.com/thelovecoach, and also the Bruce Starr Show, and also Bruce Starr Production. So anybody wants to contact me about speaking opportunities or one-on-one relationship coaching, you contact me. Jill gave you her information. I want to thank you so much for being on the show. And we will definitely do more shows together. There's no doubt about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I really appreciate it. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next week. Next week, speaking of guests, Dr. Eric Pearl, The Reconnection. You won't want to miss that show. Good night, Jill. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.